For sure. Now, from time to time, Grinnell College partners with Iowa's renowned pollster Ann Seltzer. Well, we have the latest results of this one. So we're going to start with President Joe Biden this afternoon. He has not yet declared his reelection campaign. Now, this national poll shows that right now more Americans approve of his job performance. However, fewer Americans approve of him as a person. So let's look into the numbers on this. So when it comes to Americans' views of the job that Joe Biden is doing as president, the poll shows improvement for him. He is up 3 percentage points compared to 6 months ago. Now, for him, that would mean that he's headed in the right direction as he moves toward this expected reelection. However, look at the second set of numbers on this, his favorability. Those, according to this poll, stand at 44%. So this is really more about what people think of him as the person, not his job performance. So if you look at that job, at that measure, he's fallen by 5% over the last 6 months. So how can he be up in one place and down in another?
There are two different questions. One, we're really asking people to evaluate how he's doing as president, and the other is a more personal evaluation of him. As I step back, though, and look at both of these figures, I mean, really the big question is how strong does Biden look as a candidate for the 2024 presidential election? And on the one hand, he doesn't look that strong. I mean, his approval rating is only 39%. But on the other hand, I don't see support coalescing around any alternative candidate who seems to be doing better than him.
Perspective, you didn't see a huge shift either way here. Now, some more numbers here, and these will back up what Professor Hansen is talking about here on the overall favorability ratings for people of all political parties nationally, this sector in this poll here. Biden is the leader. He's higher than former Republican President Donald Trump, along with Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis. Trump has already announced that he's running for president a third time. DeSantis has not announced his plans yet. Of course, we remember he's already campaigning in our state, which is usually an indication of future plans. Now, the Grinnell College poll drilled down favorability looking at just Republicans nationally. So this shows that Trump is still the most popular. DeSantis is close, so there's only a 4-point gap there. Former Vice President Mike Pence trails Trump by a 25% gap when it looks at favorability. Pence has not announced his plans for 2024 yet. Then you have former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. She's already said she's running for president, not nearly as well known as Trump. And then you can see the big difference. She has slightly more than half the favorability ratings that Trump does right now, according to this poll. As we know, Trump is involved in a handful of legal and criminal investigations, plus his rally that came before the attack on the U.S. Capitol by some of his supporters 2 years ago. But he remains the most popular Republican looking ahead to the 2024 presidential race.
It's not a substantive difference. They're both polling very well among Republicans. It is interesting that it's just almost impossible to budge Donald Trump's numbers in a public opinion poll. So no matter what's swirling around him at any given moment, he retains his standing among Republican voters.
So as always, a poll is just a snapshot in time. We do not know what, if anything, would happen to Trump's numbers. Faces any kind of criminal charges with that New York investigation regarding the payments to the former porn star or the 2020 Georgia election investigation. But according to this Grinnell College national poll, Trump remains the most popular Republican looking at a potential field, while Biden is still more liked than Trump.